So Facebook went down, which meant that during my live that I was doing on Facebook, of course, it got interrupted, and I'm back to continue the conversation. And I'm going to try to maybe overlap a little bit with the last topic. So those of you watching this on YouTube, I appreciate your patience as I kind of go back and recap a bit and then come forward. So this point I was on was fantasy land. So many people have fantasies, and when they come and decide to pay money to have a cuddle session, to have any kind of like, intimacy kind of in that way, I understand they create this whole world of like, oh, for an hour, I'm just going to pretend that this is my partner, or this is my person. I'm going to let myself maybe even fall in love and have this fantastic experience. I remember one client long time ago, like early on, wanted me to like whisper like romantic and loving things in his ear just to kind of build that fantasy, kind of like let himself settle into that. And I was uncomfortable with that because it is a little bit edgy to play with the fantasy. Our bodies, our nervous systems do not know the difference between like whatever you tell yourself, that's going to be true. Like it's how our bodies work. So then if that fantasy is interrupted and like blocked by this fact that you saw me online with a love interest or a partner of mine, it can shatter that and shocks that, and it's a bummer. You're just like, man, I can't have the fantasy if I imagine she has a partner and she is with someone else. So that's another reason why it might be difficult for people to see me and know that I have a relationship. Okay, next point, the monogamous assumption, right? As I'm saying all of these, what is clearly the thread that like goes through all of them is there's this assumption of monogamy, and it is a default that we have in our culture. Everyone kind of expects it. I would say majority of people, 98% of people out there, live under this monogamy mindset, and about a high percentage of y'all though still do have other relationships outside of your monogamous agreement. But that's another video. But this mindset is so prevalent in everything. And so when we really think about, what is really honest about human connection, human relationships, is that we develop relationships with people in all different ways. And some people have capacity for, having different types of relationships. That's why we have the thing we call, it's funny, like the work husband or work wife, like because we spend all this time with other people. So right, there's so many different ways to have relationships, and I think that's true. That's why a lot of us end up getting in trouble with extramarital relationships, because we recognize that inside of us, monogamy is not for everybody, and I don't want it to be also default for my life. It's not. I want to be able to make choices and build relationships in ways that feel good to both people or all the people that I'm with a lot of, again, consent and integrity and consciousness. And that's what matters to me. So I bring that into my world, but doesn't mean that everybody who comes and sees me, they might put their value system on me. It is what it is, but just wanted to show that that's a common thread that's happening here. So if you question that, a lot of difficulties fall apart in this. And, it's also just very possible that someone doesn't want to be cuddling with someone who is non-monogamous. Ooh, you know why? Because then they must be a slut or whore, using these words, scary words. And wow, like it's probably also why a lot of professional cuddlers, if you didn't know, get asked to do sex work, because people are like, oh no, I'll never go to an escort, or I'll never do, like, no, I won't do that. But they will, they'll do a professional cuddler who maybe they can like coerce them or convince them to have sex. Why? Because, well, they don't do that. See, they're not sluts. They're not sluts like that. Like, they're not whores or whatever. We have such whorephobia And it really does show up in this way as well, where people that have chosen to explore their relationships in the way that they want, get name called. And I've been denigrated. I've been criticized. I've been in comments on YouTube. People will call me names around this because they just can't imagine somebody being able to touch and cuddle with hundreds, thousands of people, as if it means something about me and my character. Okay, anyway, moving on. That's also, again, fairly prevalent in all of this. This next point is interesting to me as well. She's just waiting for Mr. Right, and then she'll stop cuddling. Ooh, that's like the pretty woman syndrome, right? It's fascinating, that one, because you think, well, if I've had this, if she meets me and she sees how awesome I am, I find this very funny. Men who think, well, once she's with me, she won't need to cuddle or like do this work, or like, unless not that I would do this, but unless some billionaire comes and it's like, hey, come be with me and then leave your work, which I still may not leave my work. I may still want to do this, even if a partner of mine has millions of dollars. I don't know about billions. That one just seems really complicated, and I don't know how that life works. But being really honest here, like, that seems so confusing. But I would say that puts the question back on me, like, why do I do this? Am I doing this just for money? Am I doing this because, well, it's all I could do in life, and, well, might as well just do this until I win the jackpot, and then I can stop, and that might be a man, once I meet that perfect guy. No. And unfortunately, the men who come to me hoping that I'll fall in love with them and be with them, they all secretly are like, well, of course she's going to stop working. Of course. Because who would continue doing this? And and they then had this idea of like, then she'll be all mine. That's not how that works either. And how sad. I mean, how sad that might be a thing that someone might believe. And then let's say it actually works out for them. And then she continues to do her work. And like, what did you think was going to happen? So I'm going to stop here for a second on my points and sit with something that I can't put quite my finger on, but I want to mention it because maybe those of you out there who are smarter than me, who have processed this deeper and more, can shed some more light to this. But there's something about all of this that I'm uncomfortable with, because deep down, like, there's we have a problem in our society with empowered women doing what they want with their bodies. We're uncomfortable. And I can feel it. I can sense it. Like, again, why I was like, how dare you? Who do you think you are, woman, to do with your body what you want? It's like, it needs to be controlled by God or by man, like a man relationship. And it's almost, we can't trust a woman who is using her body in her way, either for pleasure or for work or for whatever she wants. I mean, like, let's just look at even like size. Like, can we trust a woman who weighs 600 pounds? Like, not that saying that that's always a choice. It's not always a choice. And I'm like, ooh, let me go back, reel that one back in. But it doesn't. It's like somehow we're always getting this messaging, like, our bodies aren't ours to do what we want and to choose how we want them to present them, either what they look like. We're constantly being criticized if they don't, not to people's pleasing or whatever. If I don't remove my mustache, like something's wrong with me. Like this constant critique that we have, and, the body size we have, how we use it for service, if we want pregnancy or not, we don't want pregnancy, like whatever, all of that. There's this underlying, like, I feel it, this control and uncomfortableness with an empowered woman choosing to use her body to love and to give, and however, in whatever way she wants. Oof. So I just want to leave that kind of in the space. I can feel it's there, like this underlying thing. So I'm just gonna And those of you who are smarter in this area can tell me more about how you see it. So I'm now going to shift a little bit to maybe there's some major curiosity about my relationship life. And I do mention it online, and like Facebook, I guess, is where I kind of share my personal musings. And I'm open to sharing my relationship status. For those who want to hear it directly from me, this is the video you've been waiting for right now, at this point. And you've made it this long. Congratulations, kudos. So I consider myself a relationship anarchist / polyamorous person. And what that means is I want to co-create with the people in my life the relationship that works for us, right? So we are conscious and deliberate and intentional about how I make those connections and how I relate with people. And particularly looking at right now, what feels really good in my body? Like what meets me in ways like, ooh, I love that feeling. Like that joy, that gush of just, oh, I want more of that. Like if I have that with someone, I'm like, then I'm going to pursue that. I want more of that. And every relationship will look different. And we get, again, there's no default. There's no, like, because we hang out, that means all these other things are going to happen. Not necessarily. So there's that. I also am committed to a partner right now. And I am open to other lovers and other partners if I so desire. Again, it has to come from a place of joy and just like that deliciousness, right? And I give myself that. And I also am in a committed relationship. That's okay. I am, this is also I think really important, very practical, even though I am a romantic. So I need to see a mutual benefit with the people that I choose to have in my life. And they need to provide value to my life, to be in my life. And this is, again, something I've been recently exploring, how people can bring value to me. And what does value look like? Like, what value can I bring to them? So I'll do, also the romantic side. So that's the practical. And then the romantic, I love a lot of attention. I love being taken care of. That feels so good. And so that's really, as I start to explain the being taken care of, like I want to be the center when I'm with this person. This is where the client work and the my personal relationship starts to divide and starts to split, because I do a lot of service and caring for my clients. But in my personal relationships, they don't get as much. It's actually, I try to convince people. I actually try to convince clients, like, it is an ideal situation for you to be my client. I don't know why people would give that up, because it is, you get so much. So I'm going to go through how to explain a little bit about what you get by being a client with me. You get all of my attention. I make it all about you. I serve you and your needs. And I put myself aside. Not my boundaries, like not the things that are important to me, my values, no. But my needs get put to the side, and I center yours. That's lovely. And also, clients get time priority. Let's say I'm here at home, and I'm with my partner, but we're just kind of chilling. It's a kind of open schedule. Nothing's been planned. And I have a client that says, hey, can I have a session with you tonight? Like kind of last minute, last few hours, I have nothing planned. So guess what? I see the client. My partner gets kind of a second, gets pushed to the side a little bit for me to see a client. And that's important for me, and that's something that he also knows. So we're all on the same team here, because my work is valuable to me, and I want to meet my clients where they're at. And that works. But can you imagine, let's say, this is where it gets tricky. I have a client that maybe is like, hey, like maybe we haven't seen each other for a long time, and they come back into my life. Like, I'd love to see if we can be friends, or like explore something else, whatever. And I have to have this conversation. Like, well, I don't know if you know this, but my clients come first. If we don't really have solid plans, I will cancel just hanging out to go see a client. Now, unless I have like tickets to like a show, or like something that's like costs money, and we have plans, like there's something really special happening, I'm probably gonna cancel things with people that I'm seeing to go see a client. So there's so many benefits to being a client in my life. And because my partners and my lovers care for me 100%, like I receive that care from them. And within all of that care I give, that's how I give to my clients. So it creates a really perfect balance. So it's not always a great deal to be a lover or partner of mine, because clients get so much of more that I can give them. And I like it that way. It really works. So the people that are in my personal life, they give me a lot. I receive a lot of my needs met, and I'm way more selfish, by the way. And I think it works. I like it that way. So I say this last part, especially, this is my experience. This is how I do things. This is not like any kind of standard in the professional cuddling world, but this is how I've made it work. And going back to the original question that I think is extremely important, does your professional cuddler have a personal relationship? Like, how dare they have that? And I hope I brought some clarity to that, so that when you meet someone, a professional cuddler, and they're in a relationship, it's okay. And come and get your needs met. Mwah. Take care, y'all.